Well, we finally have an update on the Big 12 football schedule release for 2023. I'm just not sure that it's one you're going to like. Welcome into the channel. I am John Kurtz. Here on this channel, we talk college football from a Big 12 angle and plenty of conference realignment as well. If you're interested in college football, Big 12 football, or conference realignment, please consider clicking subscribe and turn the bell on to get alerts whenever it is that I go live, typically Wednesdays and Sundays, or drop content for you. And on that note, I want to give you guys just a little programming update here. You're going to see this released on Sunday night. I will not be doing a YouTube live show tonight. I plan on doing one tomorrow instead because of my schedule this week. So we'll make it happen, and I'm giving you this little bit of content to hold you over for now. So we did get an update that got everybody's hopes up for a moment about the Big 12 schedule release, which I know we're all waiting with bated breath to get this thing actually released. Here's what happened, and credit to Heartland College Sports for piecing this all together, keeping it together. I saw it happening on Twitter, but they put it all together in real time for us here to get a total comprehensive update. So Joseph Duarte, who is a reporter with the Houston Chronicle, he covers Houston. He tweeted on Friday, Big 12 schedule will be released Tuesday per UCF AD. That got over 1,000 likes. One of them was me. I was thrilled about that. Like, okay, not just from a show content perspective, but I'm an antsy K-State fan wanting to know who the Big 12 defending champs are going to have to play and where and when next season. Duarte went on to tip his hat to CHCK Knights 95 on Twitter. At only 51 followers, but it was this person, Paul. Really, I should be saying Paul because instead of the handle, he has an actual name here. Paul tweeted, at UCF's AD, if I donate $12, can you tell us when we're getting the schedule? And the AD tweeted back, Tuesday, at Charge On Fund. So he's tagging their fund to say donate $12 and gave the answer of Tuesday, being when we were supposed to get the Big 12 schedule, which, again, if you're watching this on Sunday, would be just 2 days from right now. That sounds great. It makes sense. We're coming off a long holiday weekend here. Tuesday would be the first business day for everybody getting back to it. It would make sense. And so I thought, all right, this is great. Here we go. But unfortunately, that was not to be. We got an update afterward from UCF's AD who said, okay, not so fast. Schedule release date coming soon. Still finalizing some moving parts. So I think what you can glean from that is that it is actually close, right? If an AD felt comfortable enough coming out and saying on Twitter, Tuesday, then it would have to have at least been close, even if he didn't realize that there were still some I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed. I take that to mean this will be good news, okay? We did get a little bit of an extra update beyond that, even after UCF had to backtrack on that, and this comes from Shehan Jayaraya, who is a reporter with CBS Sports, who covers college football. Frankly, one of my favorite college football reporters out there. I would highly suggest following him, but he tweeted after this whole ordeal, he said, a league source tells me that the Big 12 schedule is on track to be released by the end of the month, but there is not a set day for the announcement as of yet. So it's January 15th as I sit here and record this. Basically 2 weeks. I mean, what we have now here is like the 2-week warning for the Big 12 schedule, but I understand if you're a little bit skeptical about this because we also got like by the end of 2022 at one point in time. That didn't happen. It got pushed back. We assumed that it was about Oklahoma and Texas trying to negotiate an early exit, but then we had public comments from Brett Yormark just the other day before the national championship game that maybe he was playing coy, but at least made it seem like there was not as much progress on that front as perhaps we had anticipated, so who knows? I can understand some skepticism in believing that it will actually come out by the end of the month, but for right now, that is the new update that we have. There is a lot of consternation about getting this out there, and I can certainly understand why. There are a number of reasons why you have a lot of people really antsy about this. First of all, you have 4 incoming schools that want to just see what a Big 12 schedule looks like, right? If you are moving up a level, basically in conference, you're going to be really excited to see what that new schedule looks like. It's going to be much more exciting than an AAC schedule, and for BYU, having to piece together an independent schedule. Also, the new schools want a shot at Oklahoma and Texas, right? You want to know if you're going to be able to go take your crack at OU or Texas before they get out of the league, because that is going to be far from a certainty now, especially with the rumors swirling about 2024, and this being potentially the last year for Oklahoma and Texas before they bounce a year early. So you would not be guaranteed any sort of shot here. Now it's UCF and UCF, Houston, Cincinnati, BYU looking around like, all right, who's going to get it? Who gets who coming to their place this year? I can certainly understand being antsy from that standpoint. Also, how about Oklahoma and Texas? They're rolling this. OU and Texas fans already seem to believe that there's a coordinated effort from the officials to try to keep them down and hurt Texas and OU on their way out the door here in the conference. So I'm sure they're feeling like a continued conspiracy is going to roll on here with the schedule release, and they're going to see how tough this schedule is going to be, how poorly things line up for them. Texas and Oklahoma fans want to know about that, especially as both schools, I will say, try to bounce back a little bit. I mean, Texas, I guess you could argue, had a better season for sure, but still 5 losses. And the Longhorns want to be going into the SEC on a better note than that. And Oklahoma sure as hell wants to be going into the SEC on a better note than what they put out on the floor, or on the field, rather, last year. I'm in basketball mode, guys. On the field last year with that season. So there are a lot of parties. On top of all that, you have just the remaining 8 schools here in the Big 12 who are sitting around like, man, it could be a huge competitive advantage who gets a little edge in the scheduling. I mean, I think if you just look at this year and what happened with TCU, it shows you how slim the margins are in the Big 12. TCU, great team, and none of this is to take anything away from them at all. But TCU rolled through the regular season undefeated while getting the benefit of winning some close games, pulling off that last-second field goal at Baylor. Think about the quarterback injury luck that happened, and doesn't mean that that's why they won the games, but there was some definite fortune there with K-State going to a third-string quarterback, Jalen Daniels getting hurt for Kansas, Dylan Gabriel getting hurt for Oklahoma, etc., right? There was a lot of talk about that midway through the year for TCU. And those things help you get over the hump when you're playing a bunch of close games throughout the course of a season. And I think with so much parity in this league, little things like that, little competitive edges are going to make big differences on a year-to-year basis. When you have such a razor-thin margin between a bunch of schools with great facilities, great fan bases that are recruiting pretty well, and there's not as much of a talent gap or talent difference between all these schools that are out there right now. So that, I think, is why you have a lot of schools looking around like, all right, who's going to get the favorable bump here? Who's going to miss out on the tougher schedule? Even just look at Georgia. Georgia has made a lot of waves because of what their schedule looks like in 2023, partially because Oklahoma had to be dropped from their non-con because the Sooners are coming into the league. But they have kind of a joke of a schedule. They're missing Alabama and LSU from the West, and that makes a huge advantage. Everyone's already like penciling them into another national championship next year because of their schedule. So all parties involved very much want to see this, myself included. Unfortunately, despite what we had coming out of Orlando this week, it does not look like we are going to see that schedule on Tuesday. Maybe Yormark just drops a bomb on everybody and throws it out there on Tuesday anyway, but I do not anticipate that. Just cross those fingers. Cross the fingers that we actually do get it, in fact, by the end of the month. All right, guys. Again, my plan is to go live on Monday. I will talk to you then. Again, subscribe to the channel if you're into college football, if you're into Big 12 football, if you're into conference realignment. We talk all of that here on this channel on a regular basis. You can follow me on Twitter at @JLKurtz. And if you're so inclined, you can support the channel by donating on Venmo as well, John-Kurtz-4. Appreciate you guys. Take care, and I will see you soon.